Are you new to the drone hobby and considering which drone to buy? Look no further, say hello to the DJI Mini 3, the successor to the Mini 2. Regardless if this is your first drone or if this is a Mini 2 upgrade, you will gain access to a pretty powerful package with the Mini 3. Containing increased sensor size and wider aperture, 4K HDR video with the possibility of true vertical shooting, dedicated smart controller and up to 38 minutes of flight time. It's a portable and lightweight package of 249 grams, capable of withstanding level 5 wind resistance. And you can benefit from a selection of quick shots and panorama modes as well. I've had the DJI Mini 3 now for around 4 weeks and I've been flying it under various conditions, including really heavy wind over open water. So what you see here is what you get, no tampering in post-production. If we take a closer look at the drone, it's basically the same drone as the Mini 3 Pro, with a few exceptions that will still justify the Pro model. The most significant difference is the lack of tri-directional obstacle avoidance in front, rear and bottom. There's only a few infrared sensors in the base that will assist you during landing. Woohoo! Then I can finally land on the roof of my car again without warnings. There is a bunch of arguments for including obstacle avoidance, especially to help out beginners. I would argue as long as the drone is not protected on the side, this is a false sense of safety, as you're most likely going to crash the drone when you are flying sideways. With no sensors, you are paying attention. The design has been changed slightly to accommodate front legs that we know from the Mini 2. Mini 3 has the same transmission system as the Mini 2 with a resolution of 720p at 30 frames per second. This is a reduction compared to the Pro model where you are getting 1080p at 60 fps. But I had no issues flying the Mini 2 in the past, so I'm perfectly okay with that. The rest of the ecosystem is the same, so batteries, charging hubs, ND filters and bags and all the other accessories can freely be swapped between the two Mini 3 models. This is pretty convenient if you want to borrow a battery or two from a friend if you're planning a longer flight. If you are a first-time drone buyer, you will benefit from the full portable package with a lightweight drone below 250 grams. This kit is so small that it easily sneaks into your bag if you want to travel light on a weekend trip. For the record, the Mini 3 does not carry a class identification label, at least not the sample I was provided. But keeping the weight below 250 grams will get you off to the races in most parts of the world without too much hassle with the legislation, registration and places to fly, regardless if it has a C0 label or not. In case you are wondering about this labeling, the class identification label system is only relevant for drone pilots in the EU. Should you upgrade if you already own a Mini 2? I'll give you 5 reasons to consider. That's of course also relevant to first-time buyers too. Camera upgrade. A bigger sensor is always better. And at the same 12 megapixels as the Mini 2, the Mini 3 provides even larger pixels. In combination with one-stop wider aperture, letting the double amount of light into the sensor will enable better performance during night shooting. Mini 3 shoots 4K HDR with dual ISO on chip level. This is supposed to reveal more details in the highlight and shadows even during harsh daylight. This will help you unlock the dynamic range directly out of the camera and let you use the footage right away without the need of post-grading of any flat color profiles. This is pretty fortunate because there's only one color profile included with the Mini 3. At least for now. 4K HDR video is enabled per default and is supported by 24, 25 and a maximum resolution of 30 frames per second. Extreme low angle shots are now possible with a large tilt angle because of the revised gimbal design of the Mini 3 series. 50% slow motion is possible with frame rates of 60 FPS in 2.7 and 1080p. 2x digital zoom, that will help you when you are capturing close shots of people and animals, as you don't need to fly close to them. In general, switching between zoom levels can add more variation to your footage. HDR is also supported in photo mode. With single mode, it outputs a 12 megapixel HDR JPEG photo for increased dynamic range. And of course, if you want to take care of the editing business by yourself, a RAW option is also available. True vertical video. Whether you like it or not, vertical video is here to stay. With the Mini 3 series, it's possible to flip the camera physically just by the tap of a button. This is something that we haven't seen since the original Mavic Pro. I guess that one was a bit ahead of time. And what's super cool about this is true 4K, where you get 100% benefit from the larger sensor. There's no cropping of the image, which you had to do in the past, leading to lower resolution. It works for quickshot as well, and this will allow you to capture better vertical scenes like skyscrapers, waterfalls, and in this case a water tower, allowing you for more creative angles. If you're doing YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, or TikTok, this will not only increase your production quality, but it will also ease your workflow. The noise level. I was actually pretty surprised by the difference firing up my Mini 2 after not flying it for a while. You really forget how quiet the Mini 3 series actually is. It's only when you're putting them head to head you really notice the difference. And I can say without any doubt that the noise level of the Mini 3 is superior compared to the Mini 2. It's like a flying ninja and not a Karen magnet as we have seen a fair share of here on the channel. A dedicated smart controller is convenient. A dedicated smart controller is convenient. I had to repeat that twice because I promise you, once you have tried this, you will never go back. From the time where you arrive on location until you are airborne is remarkably shorter, without having to mess around with wires and cell phones and all sorts of stuff. Some of you might say, this is nothing, I can easily handle this. But having this dedicated controller that's only meant for doing one thing and to fly the drone alone is so convenient. And this is definitely, if you can afford it, a luxury that you should give yourself. I find myself flying more frequently because of this. It flies buttery smooth with the smart controller, with a solid connection within the distances that I normally fly. And I can finally get rid of the previous generation of smart controller that, despite many efforts from DJI, never worked out really well for me. With the DJI RC, you can pop in an SD card and record your flight through the DJI Fly app in case you want to do that. This is something that's very useful to me as a content creator. I wish DJI would bump the resolution to 1080p on the screen recording, as right now it's a bit to the low side. Longer flight time. You get 38 minutes on paper. This is 3 minutes longer than the Pro version, and it is 7 minutes more than the Mini 2. But these numbers for all three drones are, as expected, nowhere near real life results. I'm getting anywhere from 20 to 28 minutes of flight time depending on usage with the Mini 3. One flight was under heavy wind, low temperature, and in sport mode with wind warnings all over the screen, really pushing the drone to the max. I was exceeding the level 5 wind capabilities and the flight time was cut down to around 18 minutes. But the drone still handled pretty well as long as you're not making stupid decisions flying with the wind away from the shore, as the drone in some cases will not have enough power to make it back. There's also a plus battery option that will extend the flight time to 51 minutes. This will of course increase your flight time, but this option is not available for EU drone pilots. What do you think about the Mini 3? And is there anything that you particularly want to learn about it? Let me know in the comments below. This is what it looks like if you compare all three models in a table. You can also decide to buy it as a Fly More combo, and this is what you will get. 2 batteries, extra propellers, a charging cradle for sequential charging, and a carrying bag. You will be able to buy the Mini 3 in these configurations. As with the Pro model, there's no charger included. Yes, there are things you will not be able to do compared to the Pro version, like active track, hyperlapse, 4K 60 FPS, as well as one additional 10-bit color profile. If you desperately need those features, you have to hone out those extra dollars and get the Pro. I think this is a really good candidate for first-time drone buyers, and the image quality will easily exceed your expectations. If you have decided to pick one up, there is, as always, purchase links in the description below. I also think this is a really great update from the Mini 2, but of course not so much if you already took the plunge and purchased the Mini 3 Pro. I do want to say neither of the Mini 3 drones supports third-party apps. If you depend on those, you might want to hold on to your Mini 2 for a little bit longer, until DJI decides to release a SDK for Mini 3. Oh, by the way, look what I just got. The DJI wireless microphone kit. This seems to be a super cool kit that comes in this case with 1 receiver and 2 transmitters. Unfortunately, I got it a little bit late to include it in this review, but I'll make a separate video about it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then feel free to give a like. If you didn't like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you around.